No? So let me start. So, people, as I said, so today and tomorrow will be our last session. So, if you have any questions, we are doing this. So, let's start with whatever we have learned, that is digital marketing. Correct? So, to start with, what is digital marketing? It is basically trying to market your products using digital channels, which we think are primary on internet or online. Few of the examples are social media marketing, search engine optimization, email marketing. Now, when I say email marketing, it's not a regular batch and blast. It is sending email to people who have interacted with you based on their interest or action. Correct? Or their persona. So this is actually email marketing if you want to make it proper. And you have content marketing and you have mobile marketing. Now, what is web analytics? Web or app analytics, if I have to define, it is analyzing the behavior of your audience to improve performance. Correct? So you may do n number of things in marketing. Correct? But but if you are not able to analyze the performance of what's happening with your marketing campaign, will you be successful? Very, very, very low chances. Yes or no? So, if you do not analyze the performance of what's happening, very low chances, right? That's the reason you need to do analytics. And what do different things of analytics consider? You have to learn, let's say, R, big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, neural networks, deep learning, Python, right? So you may ask the question, Praful, do we need to learn all this? If you have to make a career in analytics, which is in very big demand now, any company across this world will need you to know analytics, be it Dell, be it Amazon, be it, let's say, Suzuki, Nexa. Do they all want to understand audience behavior? They need to, right? Or they want to, right? So, why? Small example. So, I have a very close friend who works with Amazon as a business product manager. So Amazon has this sales, right? End of season sale, Thanksgiving, or let's say Halloween sales, or big $1 billion sale, all this. So how do they launch this sales? So how do they understand what kind of product? And it's not that they will buy the product only after the sale starts. So they need to have the inventory also ready, correct? So they need to promote different products, what pricing is needed, all that stuff. So how does Amazon decide? Okay, we will give offers on this product, and for this we need to hold inventory of XYZ products. So definitely they analyze the previous year's history. They analyze last 6 months across globe, what is trending, right? And then they almost procure the inventory, right? And then they make it live. So her job is to ensure that whatever the customers are ordering, it should never be at shortfall. Plus, whatever they are storing as inventory, it should always get over. It should not be saved or should not be unsold. Very difficult job, right? Of course, she does a lot of knowledge exchange program with her team. But yes, so be it any company, you need to know this. Now, of course, this also needs a bit of coding, right? So, what is big data? It's extremely large sets of data that may be analyzed computationally to reveal patterns, trends, and associations, especially related to human behavior and interactions. The biggest example is Facebook. Facebook is the biggest example, and Google, machine learning, right? So data reading is always difficult. So what do you do is people who are good marketers, if I show you plain data, some big numbers, you will not be able to understand, right? So you need to have a storyteller, somebody who can explain data in the form of stories is what we are looking forward to. So there will be a question, right? That is, Praful, we have learned so many things in digital marketing. Do you think we need to learn everything or we should know everything perfectly? Have you never thought about this question that I have learned SEO, SEM, all this? Do I need to know everything in depth, or what do I do to try and make my career in this industry? Did anybody get this question till now? Can't hear. Others, can you hear me? Uh, Others, can you hear me? Okay, let me. Lucifer has a problem. 1 minute. Lucifer, 1 minute. Others can hear me. Looks like a local issue. Please try by logging in again. So, did anybody got ever thought of this question? See, we have, and trust me, I have only taught you basics because of the course curriculum that we decided. We only taught you basics. But did you ever think that I have gone through so much of training that to only basics? Do I need to know everything in depth, or can I survive by just knowing a part of it, or what? Did anybody get this question till now, guys? Anybody got this question till now? And it's an important question to ask yourself because if you're learning so much, why are you learning so much? You should ask this question to yourself, right? Is it really useful if I learn so much? So what do you do? I'm gonna say, do you have an answer on this? That what am I supposed to know? What am I not supposed to know? So you should be like a T-shaped person. What is T-shaped? You should know basics of everything and in-depth knowledge of at least one or two mediums. Like for example, I can definitely vouch that my SEM knowledge is really, really good, along with SMM. That's my core specialty that I have always worked upon. So I know basic everything, and you should know one or two in depth. Then you will succeed because trust me, it is humanly difficult to actually know everything in depth with so many changes happening dynamically. If you try to learn everything, you will be in a big problem. Like if you do MBA, right? Do you learn everything? No, right? What you learn is you learn basics of one thing like marketing or MBA or finance, correct? And from there, you try and gain more knowledge and then take it forward from there. Yes, that's what we usually do. I can't see chat. Wait a minute. Correct? That's what you're supposed to learn. Now, what we will do is today and tomorrow, we will learn something called Google Analytics. But before we get into that, let's see what it is. So, John Wanamaker, who is a famous department store magnate of the 19th century, once said that 50% of the amount or half of the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The problem is I do not know which part of my marketing is wasted. Was he correct? Yes. So that was almost a century back. Now it is possible to know how this happens. Let's see how Google Analytics helps in measurement of analysis and improvement of all your digital marketing efforts, right? Oh, you've done the basic course, Yashu? Great. So, do you know how to implement the GA code and how to read the data over there? If you've done that, brilliant. Nothing like it. So, when you say basic, can you throw more light on that? I mean to say, have you completed how to put the code on your landing page and what kind of data you should actually look for? Okay, Yashu is not answering. But you completed. Perfect, perfect, Yashu. Nice. Great. So maybe you can also teach us once we proceed. So what it is, let's see. Why it is important. Definition is it is an analytics, is an analysis of. Oh, nice. Yeah, Yashu, how did you learn this? Online or through someone else? Oh, perfect. So maybe you can teach us, right? It's qualitative and quantitative data from your business and the competition. Yes, yes, Tanya, I know. To drive a continual improvement of the online experience that your customers and prospective customers have, which translate into desired customers both online and offline. In simple words, it is learning of how to analyze data to improve my product, my campaign performance, and enrich the experience of my customer. Why is important? Measure what is working, what is not, where to focus, what's my goal and where do I focus, what works for a particular segment, right? And optimization, something happening from it. And you have to develop your niche, where's your niche audience beyond what you can imagine, right? So let's go to my talk. So GA is widely used. Why it is widely used? Any idea? Reason being, first of all, it is backed up by the biggest search engine in this world. That's one of the advantage. And second thing is it has a free version also. So there are two versions, right? Standard version is free. There's a delay of approximately 24 to 48 hours for the standard version. Okay. And you have a premium version, or we call it paid services. So what is premium version? You pay X amount, and of course you get much more dedicated service. You get big data, and you can customize the way you want to do it. And the delay of data is maximum 2 to 4 hours. The price starts from 100,000 to 1.2 lakh dollars per annum. Expensive, but a lot of companies want to use paid version because they might want real time data to understand what's working for your customers and what's not working. Okay, so how does Google takes data? There are four pillars towards it, as you see over here, right? Data collection, data processing, data configuration, and data reporting. So first, data has to be collected, right? It gets processed in the backend, correct? And then it gets configured. You filter out whatever is not needed by the customer, and finally, data is reported to the customer for them to go ahead and optimize their marketing campaigns. This is in nutshell the four pillars which works for GA in totality to ensure that they kind of grow, right? So how is data collected? So we all have learned physics, right? In a school, physics. I used to hate physics, to be honest. But yeah, so similar concept is applied over here. So data, so photon, that's what we call light travels in the form of very small packets of energy called photons. Okay, information on internet, that is on web, right? Information on web or on internet travels in the form of small packets of data, right? So let me show you a postcard. Indian Post, right? Long time back, people used to send postcards. Remember? Now, in this postcard, do you think everything has some specific information, right? So this is basically the stamp, right? Oops, sorry. So there is stamp over here. There's two address over here, pin code, address of the sender from address, and then there is a message behind it, right? This is how. I'm not sure how many have seen postcard, but I had seen it long, long time when I was a kid. Nah, I don't think any kids would see, but this is how any postal service will know, right? What's working for them, what's not working for them, and how do I deliver it, and who's the sender, who's the receiver, and what message has to be relayed. Yes. Similarly, let's say you go to flipkart.com. So you go to web and you type flipkart.com. Now there's some information this is passed over here. Some information that is passed on internet. This information is called packets of data, which comes in the form of this. What is the operating system through which we got traffic? First point. What is the OS version? So nowadays you have different types of version. So from which version did I get traffic from? From which IP address? Which browser version, language, screen resolution, browser heights, hiding pixels of the browser screen width, right? So all this information is then used for me to plan my future marketing activities, right? So this packet of data comes along, and this is called data collection. Correct? This data is collected, but not everything may be useful to the user. So data is collected in this way. So my next question is Flipkart, Amazon, Paytm, whatever, right? Have you have you seen that most of these companies uh, they do a part of analytics on their own, but majority of the part is outsourced to some agencies or some third-party companies. Have you seen that? Something like Cambridge Analytics or Media Mind on Mindshare. Yeah, why do they do that? I'm going to say they can hire in-house people, right? They hire a small team like a manager to check the work, but most of the ground level work is outsourced. And I was always assume why. If there are agencies who are doing this work in big agencies, that means work is getting outsourced, right? And definitely these big agencies definitely earn big amount through very big companies like Flipkart, Amazon, or let's say um, Paytm, or let's say Inkfruit, Chumbak. So why? Why do these companies not do analytics in house and try to outsource the entire work or majority of the work to third party companies or third party agencies? Have you ever thought about that? Think, because that's how you will have your career, right? So why should they outsource it to you when they can do it in house? Why? So what? So large amount of data, they can hire more people, right? I mean to say they have the capability to hire more people and do it on their own. Extra manpower. Anyways, they have customer service people, all this stuff. So they should even then outsource the entire part of website development to some third party companies. Why do they hire for that and not for this? So guys, Google, Pay, Amazon, Flipkart, what are these companies' core competencies? What do they actually do? Absolutely yes, Sam. So their core competency is is e-commerce, or they want to develop their own product. So they want to focus on that own thing and not really get bothered about analytics all this stuff. Whereas Google Analytics, this product of Google is specialized for analytics. Google has a separate dedicated team which does this, and that's one of the biggest strengths of Google. Why? Because they do not mix the thing. Somebody who's working on Google ads may not even know analytics properly because his major focus is Google ads only. He will not be bothered about what's happening in analytics because that's not his core specialty or core strength. Jerry, the question: OS manage a processing of unit data. Which process comes first? I see. First, your chat is hidden somewhere. Which first comes? They decided OS. I am sorry, Jaydeep. OS manage a processing unit data. Which process comes first? They decided OS. Jaydeep, is that your question or you want to inform us something? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand if you're trying to tell us something. Jaydeep, you have to ask something? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you answered or something you asked. Can I decided? I'm sorry. Okay, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't understand Jaydeep. If you have any question, maybe you can type once again. So the problem with digital platform is, first of all, okay, what is the OS? Okay, operating system. Okay. So earlier, right, few years back, I understand my dad, right, he still has a loyalty towards Raymond's. He still goes to certain places to eat what he like to. He may travel across to that place to eat, right? So people had loyalty towards products and places at least few years back. Now, with the advent of digital marketing, the biggest challenge is actually loyalty has decreased. Whoever is trying to promote or whoever is able to promote their product that much more, are people shifting easily? The first problem is zero loyalty. And the second thing is, if you are, let's say, a website visitor, how long can you wait for a web page to open? So if you go and you try to open some page on your mobile or your laptop or desktop, how long will you wait before the page can open? If the page does not open in max 3 seconds, okay, Lucifer is pretty aggressive. Max 3 seconds is max she or he can wait. Mohammed 5 seconds, slightly more conservative. Okay, not bad. Anybody else has any figure? In one of my class, one guy said 2 minutes. I'm like, yo, you're God, you're Gautam Buddha. 2 minutes is a long time. I want to say, if you can wait 2 minutes in today's age, you are actually Gautama Buddha. You're so calm and so peaceful. Rightly said by Zaid, Yeshu, and Lucknow. Maximum 3 seconds to ensure. So your analytics will tell you how much time it's taking for the website to open, and you should correspondingly ensure that people do not wait more than that. So there are two options for marketing: hunting and farming. It's always easy to do farming rather than do hunting. So as I said, there are four purposes of data. How does data gets reported, right? So on GA, how does data get reported? Okay. So what happens is, if you do not know, you go to analytics.google.com. I'll ping that link over here. You all know how to open an account on analytics. Go to analytics.google.com, right? And then you open the account. I'll tell you what to do after that. Once you open the account, first thing is you have to open the account to even think of going ahead and using G. And why am I using analytics? Because it's free. I'm going to say the one reason is it's free for me to use. That's why I'm using it. Definitely is a good product also, But one major reason is it's free. So I can do a lot of things without actually paying for it. Okay. So this is what you will have to do. You first have to have a business objective. Let me zoom it a bit, maybe, right? And then have a plan on what you have to do. What are your KPIs and how do you segment it? This is how you do your measurement plan. Okay. So the plan is you have to document your business objectives. What are different strategies and tactics you want to use? Choose KPIs. What is going, your going KPI going to be? Is it branding? Is it clicks? Is it download? Is it to get referral program? Is it to get e-commerce? Right? So you have to decide your goals and your KPIs before you start proceeding. Chat, something is coming up. No, nothing is coming up. Okay. And these are few people you can follow. uh, Avinash Kaushik, one of the leading Google Analytics engineers or product heads who works with Google, and he has his own channel, own blogs, own forums where he gives a lot of information of Google Analytics and Analytics as a product. So you can follow him. It's kaushik.net. You have kotwani.com, very good writer. You have analytics.blogspot.in, is a blog which gives you a lot of updates, majorly on GA. And you have blog.hubspot.com. So HubSpot has its own blog for analytics. HubSpot is again a marketing application company. They give a lot of marketing solutions to companies on automation, CRM, landing pages, so on and so forth. Okay. So what is GA? How it works? It's a preferred platform, widely used, one of the biggest used platform across the globe to ensure that people actually go ahead and get the data that they're looking for. Free, of course, but remember I told you it has a premium or paid version too. So if you want, you can use that as well. Supported by the biggest search engine in the world, which is your google.com. That's one reason why people has a trust because it is supported by one of the biggest search engines across the globe. And it is constantly Acha, but if I close that, no, I'll not be able to see anything. Sandeep, that was the problem. I closed it. Okay, put it top right corner. This is a big problem with Zoom sometimes I face. It's constantly evolving or constantly changing, and that's one more reason to use it because if something is very dynamic, it's definitely going to be good because it's changing as per the current market demands or current market find integrities. So what can it do for you? What is the visitor doing in my website? From where are they coming? When are they coming? How are they buying? And what are they buying? Some reports and dashboards which are very important for analytics. Reports and dashboard is what helps you work. You can experiment and learn what's working, what's not working, and try to improve your performance to ensure whatever you're trying to do is working for you as a company. Right? Setting goals as a business thing. So these are different goals that you can have. So there are different goals. So the first goal could be e-commerce. What is e-commerce? Companies like Amazon, Flipkart, right? AGO, right? What's the major goal? to sell products and services and make money out of that. Lead generation to collect user information and test various strategies which can help you to improve your business and your services. Content publishing to encourage repeat visits and engagement, because remember, people, I told you, most of the people who come on our website for the first time, they do not come with an intent to buy something. They come with an intent to do some research. So now what can you do to ensure that you get a repeat engagement from the same set of users? That's the next thing you have to have. What can I do to increase engagement, the next set of people who are coming on my website? Okay, then online information like site like Wikipedia, Google forum, AdWords forum, they don't want you to buy something or subscribe for something. What do they look for? They look basically if you can share the information that is needed. And lastly but not leastly, branding, awareness and loyalty of the users to a particular website, the extent of reach of the website, especially in social media. Okay. So based on this goals, only you get data, right? So let's say my goal is transactional. Then I will only look at amount. How much amount did they buy? What is the total purchase value? Did it exceed my expectations? If no, how much more do I need to sell? Lead generation is unique. Now I have a question over here. I have a question over here. Let's say your goal is e-commerce. This is Sandeep or Farid or Shivani or Gitika. They come to my e-commerce website and they buy something today. So they buy something today and it's definitely good. Now, after 3 days, they go ahead and buy something more. So, whenever they are buying something more, are they adding some value to me and my website? Yes. So, you will track all the content you will write. It's a lead generation, right, Hiral? You come and give your information on my website today. So, one lead is generated. After 3 or 4 days, you again come and again give your information on my website. So if you give your lead information once again, is it adding any value to me or my business? You've given your lead information once, you're doing it once again. Are you adding any value to me or my business by giving no, right? Correct, Preetham? So over here, when I track only unique conversions, ideally I should track only unique conversion, right? That's what it says over here. Absolutely, yes. So the common terms that you will use on analytics, some common terms you should know is dimension. Dimension is nothing but attribute of a visitor, which you call the lead persona. What is the lead definition? So dimension will give you the lead definition figure. Metric, number to measure a dimension. So let's say the dimension is geography. Metric would be, let's say, Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai. Correct? That's what metric means. Visitor, the user who visited my website by clicking on the URL. Visits, the amount of times the website is accessed by a different user. Session, this is very important. Session. So when you talk about Google ads or Facebook, right, you mainly look at clicks. Am I right? In analytics there's no concept of clicks. All of them look at a concept called concept called sessions. What is session? When somebody comes to your website, right? It is measured as one session is happening, right? So we all know what a session. Session is basically when somebody comes to your website, it tells you how much session is it happening, okay? Few more terms. I thought let me pause for a second over here. Few more terms that you can learn is pages per session. How much or number of pages they have visited per session. Very important metric, right? The more number of pages somebody visits, that much better your website has been. Average session duration is defined as total duration of all sessions in seconds by number of sessions. Basically, it tells you average time that is being spent on your website when somebody comes to your website. Some website session is limited, like yes, there will always be exceptions, Jerry. They would always accept because see now that is different. Okay, that is different. Let's say you go to SBI website, okay, and after a few seconds it logs you off automatically. Correct? That is a session defined by that website, but for GA it does not make a difference. There are few rules of a session which I'll let you know, but for GA a session limit is defined differently. Those are for security purposes, just to ensure that if somebody is inactive, let me log them off so that it cannot be misused. Okay. Unique page view, the number of sessions during which that page was viewed one or more times. And one more thing, right? People who have this specific thing, right, of timeout or whatever, they are not basically marketing pages. Like if you go to EPFO, right? No. If you go to like onlinesbi.com, no. So SBI may have a different marketing page, but sessions which have this, special, sorry, pages which have this special session thing, right, are not marketing pages. They are pages which people can view once they log in. Am I correct? Marketing pages will majorly may not have this kind of timeout things, right? Because they would want people to actually explore more. If they read more, that much better it is for the website. Cool. Unique page view. This is also very important. The number of sessions during which that page was viewed one or more times. Conversion. What is conversion? When a goal is completed. And goal may not always be only sales. Goal can be any of these things. Let me go back 2 slides. Am I right? It's not always sales that is basically a goal. It can be any of the five things that you see over here. Cool. So this is what are the few basic terms which I use. What is bounce rate? Any idea what is bounce rate? People who have been through this and why it is so important? Bounce rate, why it is important? Anybody over here? Yeah, what is bounce rate? Anybody? How, Bhavya? How? But you're there. How? So have you ever seen you go to a shopping mall and you go inside and you just come out without taking any action? Happens? You go to a shopping mall without buying anything, you just walk out. Is it good or bad? It's not really the back button basically. Jaideep, what bounce rate is, people go to a landing page, a website or anything, and they get out without taking any action. So they do not go to any other website and then they just walk out. That's basically a bounce rate for me. Right? Now got to bounce rate. So you go to any website and you do not take any action and you come out. It's a bounce rate. So bounce rate is percentage of visits in which the visitor only views one page of a website and then he or she leaves. Absolutely yes. And that's not a good thing, right? So we need to have a boundary. But let's say there's a blog, right? Blog is there. My blog has only one or two pages. Do you expect a high bounce rate for blog with one or two pages? Okay, Akbar. Today we are only learning basics of analytics. So these are few definitions of analytics. So first of all, Mohammed, are you able to understand what is analytics? It is to analyze the behavior of customer on your website. Yes. So you need to measure different metrics of a customer. Let's say you go to any website, the flipkart.com, and you take some action, right? Does this website or can this website have more than 2 3 lakh visitors every month, Mohammed? Apart from Muhammad, are others able to follow? Yes? Okay. So, Muhammad, I'm sorry if you're not able to follow. Basically, you're trying to understand what is analytics, right? So, bounce rate means, so let's say I go to Flipkart. Does Flipkart expect me to take actions over here? Something over here? If I do not take any action and if I just close this page, good or bad for Flipkart? Definitely bad. So, out of 100, if 40 people do that, what is the bounce rate now? Out of 100, if 40 people do that, they just exist 40%. So my idea is how can we do that? Correct. So 40%. Now what can I do to make it above 40%? That's the next question that you have to answer. Correct. So these are few terms which you have to try and understand when you do analytics, because people use these terms very very commonly. Pages per session. So number of sessions is there, but right. So let's say company A. Let me open my doc once again. Company A has 70 sessions. Company B has 120 sessions. Which is better as per you? Which is better as per you? Company has 70, company B has 120. B, right? Now let's go to page per session. So whenever a person comes, they usually browse 7 pages per session, and over here they only browse 4 pages per session. Now which looks good? Now which looks good? A, right? So you definitely have to see much more data apart from only sessions. So a lot of people only look at sessions, they do not look at this. Also average session. So when they come on the website, what is the average number of sessions for that specific website? That is total number of sessions by number of sessions. So one person can also have 2 or 3 sessions, people, right? How? I'll let you know. Unique page view, the number of sessions during which that page was viewed one or more times. Conversion, and when a goal is completed, bounce rate. We are doing this, right? Is how data is collected, reflected, and now you have this account structure of GA. You have account, you have users, you have property, we have view. We'll see this tomorrow why it is that way. Now let's understand how data is collected in GA. Can you all see my talk? You can, right? So basically, so any tool of any company of analytics will give you a piece of Java code. Like when you work on Google Ads for remarketing, they give you a remarketing code. Correct? Uh, this small piece of Java code has to be put on your website, right? It has to be put on all the pages where you want to capture this data, right? Let's say company has 30 pages. You have to do it on all 30 pages, right? It's basically a one by one pixel image, right? It's a pixel image which is transparent so that no one can see it. So one pixel image created where the script is placed. This image is transparent and nobody can see it. Placed on the web page but stored on GA server. Now you will ask me, full cookies, right? What if somebody deletes cookies cache? If somebody deletes cookies or cache, you cannot you cannot capture data. Now tell me honestly over here, how many of you have deleted your cache or cookies recently? Okay, Zain, right? Why then? Any reason or something happened? I mean, how many of you do delete cookies very frequently? I don't do it for a long time. Why? Because it's just easy. It's all stored, so I just go there and my browser gives a lot of things automatically. Now, 10, 15 years back, we used to constantly delete our cookies cache because our RAM space was slightly lower. Our hard disk was slightly lower. That's the reason we do it. So now, every time there is a GA code place, whenever you go to that specific landing page of the website, we receive a information, and that information is called a hit. Okay. So let's say you have pages A, C, F, B, I, D, H. Okay. GA code is present in page A, B, C, D, E, F only. Okay, let me remove this answers from here. GA code is present only on page A, B, C, D, E, F. You go to page A. Is the data captured? Cookies, it when cookies. So even if you're in incognito mode, right? Yeah, if you're in incognito mode, we don't drop cookies, but we'll still track your data. By the way, okay. If you go to page F, is the data captured on page F? Now page H is the data captured on page H. Why no? Why no over there? Absolutely, code is not present. Now, after you go hit right, the next important concept is called session. Now, what is session? Session is a collection of hits. It starts with a hit and ends when any of these three conditions mentioned below happens. First thing is, if there is a inactivity of 30 minutes continuously, new session is recorded. Let's say I go to this page, right? I went to this page when the session started. Yes, I opened this when when we started this session. Did I do any activity on this from past 40 minutes? Now, if I do something over here, right, it will be one more session because it was inactive for more than 30 minutes. So now it will say two hits and two sessions. But let's say I go to flipkart.com. I went to flipkart.com 10 minutes back, correct? If I go now again, it would be one more hit. But if I take some action, it will continue with the old session only. You guys get my point? Though I close the page and open once again, because the time duration is less than 30 minutes, it will continue with the old session. So hits will be two, session will be one. Is this clear? The concept of session? Everybody, this gets very confusing sometimes. So people will say, so this is a very common question. I am saying 50 hits, only 12 sessions. Why? This can be reason. Whenever you go and you click, it would be a new click. But the if the gap was less than 30 seconds, it will not be the case. Second thing is people might see I'm seeing only one click, but three sessions. This is the reason. I was on this page, hit or click was one. Since I did not do anything, it became two sessions now. Correct? The second rule of session is after midnight, based on the time zone of the Google Analytics account. Right? So let's say you open some page at 11:50 p.m. in the midnight, people, and you close that page at 1, let's say 12:20 a.m. Date change, yes. So why do you think date change will should also change the session? Any idea? So after, let's say, time zone, that's okay. Time zone is not a problem. India. So let's say after 2 or 3 weeks, when you want to take data, right? Will you take data usually week wise, day wise, month wise, right? So how will GA report sessions? That's the reason when a new day starts, it counts everything new because people want data date wise, week wise, month wise. And if they don't use this logic, data will not be right. Correct? When the source is changed. What do you mean by source? Source could be anything. Operating system, IP address, browser version, your Google, Facebook. email marketing, all these are source. Am I right? You guys know what the meaning of source? Source could be a browser, could be a device, could also be, let's say, your Google, Facebook, email. So all this is source. So if you, let's say, same laptop, now I open from Firefox, right? If I go and open again from, let's say, uh, Chrome, it will be like a new session, right? So I'll give you one example, right? You can check on that. See, this is my blog, okay? Let's go to real time report. Geekyreviewer.blogspot.com. You see, one user right now is on this website. That's me, right? If I open one more, let's say from Chrome, geekyreviewer.blogspot.com, right? It will become two users suddenly. Real time, right? So if I go to overview, right, it might show two users in some time. One will come through my Mozilla and one will come through my Chrome, right? Once I check the data properly, it will show, okay, so many users are coming, and that's why it will go ahead and check this real time overview. You see two users, both are me only, but it's coming from two different sources. So source would be even different browsers. See, organic, none. If I talk about, let's say, again, from which source it would be, I have to go and understand is it from Firefox or whatever. So I go to content. Which content are they currently browsing? See my home page, right? Both will show from Hyderabad. Or somebody else has come to my website. I don't know who has come, but somebody else has come to my website from Pune. Somebody has come from Pune also. Don't go to this blog. It's a very very stupid blog. Now again, if I click on organic, which part of organic it is? See Google, correct? So browser will be basically telling you a source, browser, channel, Facebook, all that stuff. So if any of this thing happens, it becomes like a new session altogether. So for today, people, what I will do all of you is all of you, the moment we finish this session, go to analytics.google.com and make an account. If you have a website, how many of you have a website over here? Organic is your Google SEO. So when I go over here and type google.com and let's say I type buy Levi's jeans online, you will see Google ads and SEO. This is Google ads. This is SEO. Whatever is organic without ads. Sandeep, so when I say organic, it is the SEO traffic, not the paid traffic. Okay? So if you do not have a website, go to your google.com, click on this, and maybe go to blogger.com and create a new website. Go to blogger.com, create a new website. Cool. And then tomorrow I will show you how you can put the code over here. But can you all make a website when you come to session tomorrow? Without which you will not be able to follow. Done deal, people. First of all, go and open an account in nso.google.com and then open a website and keep the website handy tomorrow when we start the session. Yeah? Make what? Make your own website. Go to bloggers.com and proceed your own website. It's very easy. Just do some research. It just go to bloggers.com. It will give you options automatically to create a new website. Yeah, cool. Got the point now. Uh, oh, you have one? No problem. So if you don't have one, please. So tomorrow we will use it. Okay. Cool then. Cool people. If you have any questions, type in. No. Okay then. If you have no questions, people, then take care. Have a great night. Be safe. Stay safe. And we'll meet again tomorrow. Yeah. Cool. How can I get to the previous classes? Uh, Not sure, Zaid. Zaid, you can go and check with your training coordinator, right? So you mean to say you missed some classes in the past, Zaid, and you want to check how you can attend those sessions once again? Is that your question, Zaid? Not sure. Check the training coordinator because I think that trainings are recorded. Yeah, trainings are recorded, so you can check your dashboard for the recordings and go through that. I don't think they would be repeat classes. No, Bhavi, I told you I'll not show PPTs. After we're done, whatever notes we have made, I'll share you the notes, right? I'll share the notes with you apart from the recordings that you have. So you can use the notes and recordings. I have blog and write two, three sports active passive income. Okay, good, Sandeep. Write it, start writing it. It would be good. Okay. Yeah, you can start using it once again now, Sandeep. Okay, it would be a good idea. You have to go to first of all Google AdSense and just give your YouTube website Google AdSense account, right? Sign in, and over here, if you have the same email address, you can give your YouTube link over here, and that should be it, right? YouTube.com. See, I already have a YouTube channel, so it says my AdSense account is going to show ads on YouTube. If you want to show me different site, you'll be able to provide us access, right? So if I go over here, all the different ads that I want to check and my channels, right? URL channels. So this is your AdSense thing. right? If you go to YouTube, you go to your channels, right? And over here, you can go ahead and give them permission. Right? Just link your AdSense account with your YouTube channel. It should happen automatically. I can't see your name, but I would just say go to your YouTube channel and go to AdSense account and link it. It should happen automatically. No problem. No, Sandeep, we will not do affiliate marketing in this course. We will only do content marketing, which we did. Okay. So tomorrow is the last day. Whatever we have covered is the part of the curriculum, and tomorrow we will end up with web analytics. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do it after the end of session. I'll share everything at one go. The training coordinator. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Take care, guys. See you. Bye for now. Yeah. Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.